Welcome to another edition of the Business and Personal Podcast, where we bring you closer to the people you do business with. And I love sharing great stories, and I came across this one recently, and I'm excited to share it with you. So today we have Greg Mullen. He's the founder of Miracle Academy Private Christian School in Birmingham, Alabama. And it's really an incredible story of how it all came together. So first of all, Greg, thanks for joining us to share your story today.
Thank you for having me, Ryan. We're just excited to be here to be able to share the story because I believe that it's a story that really would touch the hearts of many once they hear the story and see what's going on.
Well, I always like when I meet someone as crazy as me, and you're as crazy as me because you decided to start a business in the middle of a pandemic, but it's thriving now. So before we get into that, though, just give people a little bit of background on yourself, prior to starting the school.
Well, prior to starting the school, Ryan, my wife and I have been married for a long time. In fact, we're about to celebrate 37 years next month. We had four children that was born perfectly healthy. Then we had another child that was born that was diagnosed with Down syndrome. And so we ended up naming her Miracle because of the things that my wife had gone through prior to her birth, as she was hemorrhaging after about 3 months, and the doctors thought for sure she had lost the baby, but then the doctors come back and say, hey, I wish I could say it was something that I did, but all I could say was divine intervention. So that's where she got the name Miracle. So this is, my background, grew up, countryside, farm, all those good things. Met my wife in 1984. We got married in 1985 and moved to Birmingham in 1986 and kind of started building life from there. And, started building life, started building family. And, we've done things in our background from sales to ministry, mostly ministry. We've worked with a place that houses over 400 women and children. So that's kind of been our background as far as before we got to where we are now. And then in 2020, that's when God started really saying, hey, it's time to launch a school. We already had been considering it and praying about it anyway. But when the pandemic came, then schools began to shut down and whatnot. And we said, well, this may be the great time to do that. And we can launch virtually. And that's what we did.
So, let's go back to Miracle being born, and the original plan was to name her Angel. But then through the series of events that took place to bring her into this world, you felt compelled to change her name to Miracle, and just explain to people the extreme challenges of the childbirth and how amazing it is that she made it through.
Yes. When my wife started hemorrhaging, we went to the hospital that night, and the doctors literally told her that there's nothing else I can do. He said, we're going to have to do something, because if we don't, we're not only going to lose the baby, but we're going to lose you. We're going to lose both of you. So we can lose the baby and save you, but the baby being just 3 months in the womb, then it was virtually impossible for the baby to live. So what I did that night, and we had another friend who was part of our ministry. She was in the waiting room, and I was in the room with my wife, praying all night, reading scriptures over her all night. And about midnight, the hemorrhaging slowed drastically, and by morning it had stopped. So when the doctor came in, they said that, okay, I'm pretty sure you lost the baby because of these baseball-sized clots you've been dropping. And he said, what we'll do, though, just to be sure, before we do a DNC, we'll go ahead and do another ultrasound. And when they did the ultrasound, they found it was amazing, because they found the heartbeat was very strong. But looking at the ultrasound, Ryan, you can literally see the baby's face as it was looking directly at the camera. And that's when my wife said, you know what, her name is this child is going to be named Miracle. So that's when she really got that name changed to Miracle.
And even after birth, Miracle had several health challenges that she made it through, and then she became of school age, and you found a school that would work with her, and that school worked great for you up through 5th grade. Tell us what happened after 5th grade.
Well, let me drop back for just a moment as to the challenges that she was facing. You mentioned that she was facing challenges because at birth, they said your child has features of Down syndrome. And then she stopped breathing and they immediately rushed her to NICU, where she stayed there for 14 days. Day 15, she was able to come to the room with us. And day 16, she went home. But then also after a year old, she had pneumonia and the flu at the same time, stayed in the hospital another 13 days. And then again, she went back to the hospital another year later with pneumonia again. And so she's faced a lot of health challenges that wise. Other than that, she really don't have any health challenges as many as sometimes as you may found in children with Down syndrome. But we found a school for her that all of our other daughters had gone to this same school. Great school. And but sometimes what we did, and sometimes we may encourage other parents to do as well, to make sure that the school system do what they're supposed to do and need to do for a special needs child. Before she started school, we contacted an attorney and did what is called a due process lawsuit to make sure that the school live up to their, should I say, not the school itself, because the school itself is great, but the school system, make sure that they live up to everything that they're supposed to do for a special needs child. And unfortunately, a lot of parents don't know to do that. They don't know that. So therefore, their children may not get all the services that they're supposed to get. For instance, Miracle's IEP called for her to have a para with her throughout the day. That's have a person with her in class at all times. So if that person that is assigned can't be there, then they're supposed to bring someone else to substitute for that person on that day or that time that person can't be there. So therefore, they are obligated to do everything that's in the IEP. But anyway, the school was awesome. It was great. They did so much. She was so well recognized, probably the most popular student in the school on World Down Syndrome Day, which is March 21st of each year. They would always do a walk, a Down syndrome walk through the community. All 600 students, teachers, staff, everybody. They would have pictures and posters all over the school of Miracle and whatnot. And they did the same thing in October, which is World Down Syndrome Month, Down Syndrome Awareness Month, rather. And so they would do that. They would allow me and my wife to come and speak and teach the people about special needs and do a assembly with the entire school about people with Down syndrome and what their life is like. So it was absolutely great. But then after 5th grade, the school becomes a specialty school, and students from all over the school apply to go there because it's a well-recognized school. In fact, I have some daughters that graduated from that school, and from 8th grade, they were really prepared to go to college when they graduated from 8th grade. The school was that good. But she was not accepted back to that school after that. And I could, speculate various reasons that she wasn't. But what I look at is, I believe that it was God's way of pushing us into launching this school so that we can benefit other people like Miracle.
Yeah, you basically looked at that. This is not a door that's being closed, awesome up to 5th grade. This is actually an amazing door that's open, but it also opened at a time we were in the middle of COVID, like I said earlier. And how in the world do you open up a school, not only in the middle of COVID, but your goal was to make it as affordable as possible for people. Yeah. How in the heck do you marry those two things up in such a challenging time?
Well, yeah. Sometimes I question myself. You're absolutely right. We did not look at it as a door closed, because there are two things. There's two ways we can look at things. We can look at them as obstacle or opportunity, and we looked at it as an opportunity because sitting there in that school that day, when after I had received the letter that that Miracle was not accepted back, I was talking to various people in the office, and they was giving me advice of giving me ideas on what we can do with her, what school we can take her to. We can take her to the school that she was zoned for, which was out of the question, because what a lot of people don't understand, a person or a child with Down syndrome doesn't handle abrupt changes well. So if something changes quickly, then it turns their world upside down. And it would have turned Miracle's world upside down to take her to a new school with new students, new teachers, all of these things would have just turned her world upside down. But I'm sitting there in the office talking to the staff, teachers and counselors and whatnot. And so God began to speak to me at that point and says, start your own school. And I looked at them right then, right there, and said, you know what we're going to do? They said, what? I said, we're going to start our own school, and it's going to be called Miracle Academy. And that's when things started happening. That's when the ball started rolling to get our school started. And this was like crazy because it was early March of 2020. so we had to figure some things out, and I think really that worked in our favor. To be honest with you, even though it's say, hey, how do you start a school in the middle of a pandemic? I think that actually worked in our favor because we were able to start virtually. We started with middle school, 4 students, 6th through 8th grade, because Miracle was going to the 6th grade. So we started virtually with those 4 students. There was somebody who was gracious enough, an organization that donated us some electronics, some Chromebooks. So each child had their own Chromebook. We delivered it to their home, and we did classes online. Sometimes, if necessary, to test them, our teachers would drive to their house, sit in their yard, and test them. We made it work, and it worked for us very well. So it worked out for us very well. So over the summer of 2021, we said, we started looking at dealing with students in middle school can be real hectic because now there's changes happening in their life and they're flipping to another page. And we said, really what we need to do is start catching these students early. We need to catch them in kindergarten. So we went back and made our school K through 8 over the summer of 2021. So that gave us more opportunity to bring in more students and to make it affordable. Yes, we probably have the lowest tuition that you find anywhere. Is it affordable for people? Yes, because we discovered that there are people that are low income but desire to send their children to a better school and a better environment where they're going to feel safe and all of these things. They're not going to be bullied because we have a zero bullying tolerance. So they feel comfortable with that. Does it hurt us to do that financially? Yes. That's why we seek and work so hard to find financial partners, because yes, it hurts us financially. It puts us in some binds, but we're just trusting God that things are going to work out, and so far things are still going. Do we have a lot of work to do? Do we need a lot of finances? Absolutely.
So you're heading into year 3 though, correct? You made it through
we
2
are
years and
we are heading into year 3.
What is year 3 looking like? Any changes further going down the road?
We are looking to fill the seats. We're looking to increase our students. We're looking to increase our staff as well. This particular year was a great learning experience for us. We learned some do's and don'ts, some cans and can'ts. So because my wife and I, neither one of us had a background in education. My background is ministry, farming, sales. Her background is accounting. She has an MBA. She also worked as a CFO for the last 15 years. So we had no real idea of what the education field was all about. So we had a lot to learn, and we're still learning. In fact, we just came back of a leadership conference with Alabama Independent School Association. So that was a lot for us to learn. So this past year was a great learning experience for us. One of the things that we do that is really beneficial to us as well as our parents and students. We make sure we establish good rapport with the parents. They know that they can call us, whatever the case is, and they know if there's a problem, we're going to do everything we can to solve the problem.
So for someone that's listening to this that might have some money to donate or be interested in donating to the school, what are some of the most pressing needs that you have currently?
Well, and be honest with you, the most pressing need that we have is finances so that we can bring in more staff, because we need a larger staff. I put it, we need a lot of staff, but we need to be able to compensate them. Right now we do not and cannot compensate our staff at the going rate, should I say, for school teachers and whatnot. So that's the most pressing issue. But along with other things like air conditioning units, and we need to make sure that it's well air conditioned, well heated, and all of that stuff, because we want our students to be comfortable in school. You know, we definitely want that. We need playground equipment. We need, you know, all kind of things such as that to help so that we can have well-rounded students. You know, we have established a basketball team. We only had like the first part of last year, we only had like 5 boys. So we had a team. We've established cheerleaders, you know, but the thing is, we have basketball players and cheerleaders who have never would have made the squad at another school. So we're giving an opportunity to students with an IEP, from autism, learning disabilities, anxiety, ADHD. They are able to be on a team, which they never would have been on a team somewhere else. We have one of our students that's highly autistic, and he's so excited to be able to play on the basketball team. In the first game that we played, he actually scored 6 points. So yes, they are doing things, and we are hearing testimonies from parents and whatnot, how the school has been a blessing to them and how they're watching their children grow. One of our students who has a learning disability, he had been bullied at the school that he was at before. He came in, he was very shy, very timid, always sitting with a hoodie on his head and wouldn't say anything. Well, by the middle of the season, when we got a new student to come in, with this kid that changed so drastically, he was the one who embraced the new student and said, hey, come on, I'll show you around. So these are the kind of changes that we've seen. I got a email from one parent was telling me about, because her child had been bullied as well. He came in, he was very scared, very nervous. But she sent me an email one day telling me how happy she was with the school, how much he was changing, and how much she really want him to be here because she see his academic life changing and getting better.
So Greg, those sound like amazing success stories that you had to share there. And I'm hoping I can connect you with even more here through this podcast. So let's start, first of all, people that are interested in donating, what's the easiest way for them to get in touch with you to do that?
Well, the easy way is to go to our website, which is Miracle Academy, PCS.org. Miracle, that's MIRACLE, ACADEMY, PCS.org. And there's a donate tab there on the front of the on the home screen. You can look at that. There's another tab also that says support us, and you can find ways to do that. But that's the easy way to do that. And that is actually set up through PayPal. And there's a box there that if a person wants to become a recurring donor, they can click that box and they will automatically donate that same amount each month. They can do that, and we welcome that. In fact, we encourage that. The other way that people can donate is our school has a cash app, which is $Miracle APCS. That's MIRACLE APCS. They can donate that way also. Now, all donations are tax deductible because we're operating under our 501c3, which is Miracle Mullen Downs Foundation. So we've had a 501c3 for since 2012. So we're operating under that. So all of our donations are tax deductible as well. And also they can go to the website to apply for the school. There's a tab on there that says more. Click when you hover over that, you'll see a drop down that say apply. You can click there and fill out the application, and that will come directly to us, and we will respond.
Very good, Greg. Well, thanks for sharing your inspiring story. I think this is just a great example of doors aren't closing on you a lot of times in life. Maybe they're just opening, and you got to look further to find the answers. So best of luck to you going forward. Keep up the great work.
Hey, Ron, Ryan, just one more thing. I just thought about that as we were talking. If a person wanted to donate by mail, they can just make a check out to Miracle Academy. Check money order to Miracle Academy and put it in the mail to 3420 Hickory Avenue Southwest, Birmingham, Alabama, with a zip code of 35221.
people still do the old school mail. So yeah,
Some of them still do the old school mail. Yes, sir. Out there, I've run across people who will not do electronic. So they still do the mail. And we still get the mail.
I bet.
Yes.
Well, hey, hopefully you get donations in all forms after this podcast to keep things going. Thanks again so much.
Thank you so much, Ron. We appreciate it.